seeming contradiction, maybe, is a way to sum up paradox. Start unpacking another one of these paradoxes, these seeming contradictions. And that is that, on one hand, as you've seen also there in the images, Tibetan Buddhism is really rich in manifest form, full of colorful imagery, sounds. These butter lamps even have a smell, you know. And then some of the ceremonies even involve eating and drinking. Like it's very kind of sensory, you could say. Yet at the same time, of all forms of Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism is also the most uncompromisingly what we call non-dual. Does that mean anything when I say that to you, non-dual? Let's unpack that a little bit. Maybe it's easiest to start with the opposite of non-dual, which is dualistic. Which is actually a bit like our so-called quote-unquote universal values, which are completely culturally conditioned. Dualistic habits are so ingrained in us that we're doing it all the time without even being aware of it, you see. Dualistic thinking. The most basic form of dualistic thinking is what we call subject-object. Does that make sense? Subject is me, here. Subjective. Object is everything out there. Does that make sense? That's basically how the world works, no? Like I am talking to you about Tibetan Buddhism. There's three things already there. I mean, I'm stating the bleedingly obvious, basically, right? So that's a kind of basic dualistic way of approaching and viewing our world. Interestingly, Tibetan Buddhism, which we now know is Nalanda Buddhism, challenges this seemingly completely self-evident kind of version of the way our reality works. Not because it is kind of, you know, how would you say, morally wrong or anything. There's nothing inherently unvirtuous about a dualistic kind of way of seeing the world, but because it's not the truth. It's not aligned with the way things really are. And that's something we can actually establish for ourselves through just observing and questioning and investigating.